Hi everyone, in this video I'm just going to show you how to use spreadsheets. So Microsoft Excel is the program that we want to use, so I'm just going to quickly search for Excel in here, and there it is. I'm using Windows 7 on a desktop, and I'm going to launch Excel 2013, the desktop version. And just like in Word, when it loads up, you have a bunch of different options as far as templates you can use. So here's some like retirement planning and monthly college budget and all sorts of things. But we're going to start with a blank workbook. So just click on that once, and that'll open your spreadsheet. Now this looks pretty scary to begin with, but once you get the hang of spreadsheets, it's pretty easy. So again, just like with Word, we have all of these different tabs at the top here, and some of these look quite familiar. So we've got page layout again, we've got review as well, we've got insert, and we've got the regular home. So on a spreadsheet, it's set up just like a table. So you have all these columns across the top, and then you have all these rows down here. And if you keep scrolling, and this almost, I think it goes up to like 10,000 or something like that. People use spreadsheets for really, really complicated math and tracking and stuff like that. But we'll just start really simple. So what I usually do is across the top, we want to label what our columns will be. So let's just say we're using inventory tracking for a store. So let's just say item, and I'm just clicking into these cells. They're called these boxes. And I'll say quantity. So I'm typing into these cells. Another option I can do is just in this formula bar, I can click in there and I can type into that. So I'll say price for this one. And then because we have our quantity and we have our price, let's actually change that to be more descriptive. And we'll say price per item. There we go. And so, we've already got a problem here. So it looks like our price per item text is too big for this column. So then what you can do is if you just move your mouse up, you see the arrows with the bar? I can grab that and I can pull it out so it's wide enough to accommodate. And that's a very, very common thing to do when you're using spreadsheets. So this one I'm going to call total price. And I think we're good to go. I'm going to enlarge that a little bit. What you can also do is, if you want to select all of these cells, you can select cells like this, clicking and dragging. You can select an entire row by just clicking over on the left. See what I'm doing here? I can select an entire column by clicking on the column at the top, just on the letters. So I want to make these bold. So what I'm going to do, just to differentiate, I'll say bold here. And so these should look familiar from Word, so I can change the font, the size, the color, all that stuff. I'm just going to make those bold. And then item isn't very descriptive, so I'm going to just go say that item name. Cool. And then we can get into our inventory. So let's say this is a grocery store, and I'll say bananas. And I can use the arrow keys on my keyboard to move around. Very quick way of navigating. Apples, and how to move to the next line, I'm typing. If I say oranges here, I hit enter on my keyboard and that will move me to the next line. What else we got? Plantains, those are delicious. Olives, things like that. So let's see here. Quantity, we probably want 5 bananas, 3 apples, 2 oranges, 7 plantains, and 3 olives. So our price per item here, bananas, I mean this is all imaginary, so just bear with me. So I'll say they're $1.99, $2.99, oops, $2.99. Let's say they're 99 cents. Let's say these are 50 cents, and these are 75 cents. So right here you'll notice price per item, $1.99, $2.99. What is 0.5? 0.5 is like a decimal, right? It's not really a price. So what we need to do here is we need to change the formatting of the cell to make it into money, right? So what you need to do is if all of the things that we fill in, say we have like thousands of items in our inventory here, I would select the column, the whole column, not just these cells, because if I change these to dollars and move down here, they aren't going to be dollars anymore. So I'm going to change the entire cell. And the easiest thing to do is just go up to here, and this is where you change the formatting of the cell. So here you can change it to dollar sign, you can change it to a percentage, so like 0.5 would be 50%. You can even change the decimal places. So you'll notice it's set to general here, and I can change that to just a whole number, a currency, dates and times and percentages and all things like that in the drop down. But these are the most commonly used ones, so I'm just going to click on the dollar sign, and now we have our dollar signs there. So our total price, okay. So I can do this in my head, right? I can say 1.99 is close to $2. $2 times 5 is 10. That's not, but yeah, but then I need to take off the 5 cents. So the power with using these spreadsheets is actually that spreadsheets can do math for you very, very quickly. And the way you do that is up in this formula bar. And whenever you want an answer from a spreadsheet, you always have to start with an equals sign. If you don't include the equals sign, it'll just show the text of your math. So for example, I'll just show you how to do this. So if I go equals, I want the quantity times the price, right? Because I'm buying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bananas at $1.99 each. So where is the number 5? The number 5 is in B2. So I'm going to type in on my keyboard B2, and on the keyboard you don't use X for multiplication, use a star, which is a Shift 8, or it's on the number key on the top right. So if I hit star, that means multiplication. And you'll see when I do that, the B2 is actually highlighted here. So B2, and I want to times that by C2. So I'll go C2, and you'll see that's highlighted as well. Now all I need to do now is just hit enter. And so the math is done for me, which is really, really convenient, see? So I'll just do that again real quick. If I do B2 times C2, and hit enter, it doesn't have the equal sign before that, so it doesn't know that I want it to do the math for me. But if I go ahead and put the equal sign in, let's see what happens. See? Automatically it knows, hey, we're referring to the cell now, we're not just saying this is text B2C2. So if I hit enter there, there's my math. Cool, all set to go. Now, I can do this for B2C2 all the way down if I want to. I would need to go in and try equals C, or what is this? B3, C3, next one, B4, C4, you get the idea. But I don't really want to do that. I want a quicker way to do that. And that's what this little tiny box is here. So see my cursor changes when I move over that box to a black plus sign? If I click and drag that down, what that does is it just takes that formula that I've written and extends it further down. So I don't need to write any more formulas. All I need to do is write the one at the top. And so what that'll do is, if when I click into these, see it changes the formulas here? It's actually extended that down so that I can do the math really, really simply and really, really quickly. Now another thing that I might want to do is sort this list. So B-A-O-P-O, that's not alphabetical. Maybe I want it alphabetical. So to do that, all I need to do is just click into the column that I want, and there's this sort and filter option on the top right. If I go sort and filter, I can say A to Z, and that means lowest to highest. So if I click that, that'll change everything. So you'll notice that it took all of the numbers with it as well. So my 5, 995, so now it's apples, bananas, olives. If I want to change and sort by quantity, I can also do that. So that should be smallest to largest. So now it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's a really powerful thing to do, especially when you have a lot of things going on and your spreadsheets are hundreds of cells long. So now what I've done is I've filled in my spreadsheet a little more, and I've added some more fruits and vegetables here. And as you'll note, because I've filled all of this down here, I'm going to add my quantities in here, and it should autofill. See what it's doing? I'm just randomly putting numbers in, and it's actually doing all the math for me automatically. So let's fill all this in down. There we go. So now I want to know the total price that I'm spending for everything. Normally I'm going to do that over here, but I'm going to do this over on the right hand side just to illustrate. Okay, so I'm just going to put my label here, and I'll say total price for all items. And how do you think I would do that? I could do this in a really kind of simple way, but let's see how that works. So I go, what is this? D2 plus D3 plus D4 plus D5. Okay, I'm already bored and this isn't really working. This is going to take forever. Just imagine if I had maybe 50 or 60 of these things, let alone a couple of thousand. This is going to take forever for me to type this in. What I can do is I can actually use a special formula. And there's a few real common ones that people use. One is called sum. So if you type in capitals, S-U-M, it fills in. And it tells you what you're doing. It adds the numbers in a range of cells. So I'm going to say all the way from D2, colon, all the way down to D23. And I type that in and I hit enter. And so my total for all the items is 137.10. So that's how you do a range of cells. Next thing I'm going to do is find the average price of all of my items here. See, they kind of vary here, and you've got 3.75 and 75 cents, and so I'll just say average price of items. So I can type in here, and I can start off with an equals sign, and a really quick shortcut is actually just to click on this. It's actually a shortcut, and it'll help you remember all of the different formulas. So sum is the one that we just used. Average, you can add hyperlinks and maximums. So maximum is really cool. So if you have thousands and thousands, you can grab a range of cells and say what's the maximum value in those cells. But we're going to use average this time. So same sort of formatting. I'm going to say the average between these cells, B and E6. No, I want to go between E23, I think. Yeah, B and B23. So I go OK, and the average there is 4.0. That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right. B6. Oh, here we go. So here's the problem. I went into quantity, so I just need to click into my cell here, and I'll change this to C and C. So now I've done that, and it's showing the range here. But it's only doing C6. I don't know why it's doing that. So I need to change that. So I'll go C2. C2 to C23. Okay, let's see if this makes more sense. $1.66.99. Yep. That makes much more sense. So it's very, very common when you're working with spreadsheets to make little mistakes like this. So if you do, don't worry about it. It's just all part of building your spreadsheet out. What you can also do is, really, really quickly, is just select this. I want to move this down. So if I select a series of cells and I move to the outside edge of those cells that I've selected, it changes to that black crosshairs, and I can grab that and I can just pull that down to where I want it to be. There we go. That looks a little better, I think. Now another thing I can do is I want to find out how many total items I have. So I'm just going to say, let's say how many items, and that's a different formula. Okay, so I go up to my formula bar here, and I start typing equals, and the formula that we're going to use is called count. So let's see, we have a bunch of different options here, and if you mouse click into them, it'll tell you what they are. Counts the number of cells in a range that contain numbers. So if I count on the A column here, I'll get 0 because there's no numbers in there, but any of these other columns are safe. Let's say count A counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So that would work with this one. Count blank counts the number of cells. We've got a bunch of different options here. I'm actually going to say count A because all I want to know is how many items I have. It doesn't matter if I'm ordering them this week or not. So like onions could be blank or something like that, but I just want to make sure that I have, or I just want to count how many that I have. So if I go count A, and it's going to ask for the range again, so I'll say all the way from A to, and for this one, I might add items all the way down, so I'm just going to go crazy with this one. I'm going to go all the way to A 1000, and then I'll hit enter. And it shows that I have 22 items. So a really cool thing is when I put another vegetable in here, what's a good vegetable? Let's say a radish. As soon as I hit enter here, you'll see this number update. There we go. So now I can put in my price and my quantity, make that 99 cents, and there we go. We've all updated here. And as we change these things, let's see here. I'm going C2 to C23, but now we've got something in C23. So I can actually change this to like C50. And you'll notice that average price changed. And then same thing with my total price. I didn't accommodate the new radish. So I'll change that to C50 or D50, and there you go. What I can do now is if I want to print, let's see what that looks like. Print. And I'm printing all of these. So let's say I want to print just this table. There's a special way to do that. So I'll select all of these cells here. And you'll notice on the outside here there's these dotted lines. What that is that's the print area of the page. So you'll notice when we went in to print preview, it included this stuff. So how do you actually change the print area of the spreadsheet? To do that, you just need to go up to page layout. And here we can change the orientation, just like in Word, the margins, and there's this print area. So then, now that I have that selected, I can say set print area, and that'll do that. When I click out of that, you can see that those dotted lines are missing, and I've actually selected only these. So now when I go back to print, notice that the other page, or the other section that we had here, all our average and our sums are missing. So that's exactly what we want. So we only wanted to print this section, and that's how you do print area. So the last thing I want to do is save my spreadsheet. So I'm going to go up to File, and I'll go Save. And same procedure as in Word. If I go Browse, on the left-hand side I'll find my U drive. And I don't have a place for spreadsheets, so I'm going to create a really new folder really quickly. Spreadsheets. And then I'll go down here, and it's called Book 1 right now. It's not very descriptive. I'll call this Grocery Inventory. And then I'll hit Save. Alright, so that's the basics of using spreadsheets. It's a little complicated to begin with, so just remember the equal sign, plus minus, and all those things. And if you make mistakes, that's okay. Just be patient with yourself and you should be fine.